Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Lucas, and today I found this really cool site called 100berlin.com, and it's really cool because it has like a very unique abstract layout, right? So we have like these different cards everywhere. There's not really a hover animation only here, but we have like different cards, and when you zoom down, when you scroll down, you get more cards in different positions. And so I thought this would be a cool tutorial to do for Framer, and basically not only make the actual layout, but actually connect it to Framer CMS, right? So these wouldn't be like random, images. They would be actual CMS collections that you can add in the back end. And, once you want to replace it easily, you don't have to replace it by going into the actual design of the website. You can just replace it using the CMS. And obviously this Framer CMS is very powerful. You can connect it to Airtable or to Google Sheets. So you can even bring that stuff, like that content from there. So that's what I want to do today. So if I were to click inspect, now we're to, make this a little bit smaller. Okay. Now we're to hover over some of these areas. I can see that it's basically like a grid. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, around 7 columns, and around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish rows, right? So I would say that would be the first thing. So I want to kind of visualize this to see how it would kind of look like. So I want to take a screenshot of this and boom, take this to Figma and kind of zoom in. Hold on, let me bring my camera up here. So we have a few things to keep in mind. So let's just draw shapes, right? So we have this as the background. I'm going to make it very transparent, and then let's draw some more shapes. So we had, like I said, 7 columns. So we're going to draw 7 of these little rectangles like so. So we have 7 columns spread out through the viewport, something like this. And then we have 6 rows. So it would be, let's actually go back and let's group this, and let's do 6. And let me actually make this a little bit smaller. So it would look something like this. This would be like the grid, right? So I'm just trying to visualize this before I actually build it in Framer. So, and then some of these are going to be lighter. So lighter, I mean that they're going to have an image showing with a text, for example. So in this case, it's going to kind of look like this. We're going to have this one here. And in this case, let me just put it in a different color so that we can see kind of how it would look like. So these green ones would be lit up with another color, with an image and with a text, and then these gray ones will stay basically empty. And for each little box would have like a CMS filter, so to say. And we would kind of filter it based off of a specific field in the CMS, right? So the CMS would have the name, or it would have, like, let's say the number, the image, and then it would have another field saying like page 1 or page 2. So whenever something has page 1 or page 2, then we basically show it in page 1 or page 2. So all of these, let's say that this is page 1, all of these green ones would be would have a field with the string called page 1, for example, or with the number 1. And the other ones would have other numbers like 2 or 3. In this case, we can do like 3 pages, right? And then we have like this overlay with the logo, with the 100 Berlin, and that overlay would basically be another layer, kind of in the same size as the background, but it would be an overlay. Let's make let's make it like blue just to show you. So this would be an overlay, and this overlay would contain the logo. And this logo would have some type of effect, hover effect. And then on the side, we have these different images that basically pertain to these different images that are in the page. So we would have it like this, and let's say we have a couple more, and then some of them are the one that's showing in the actual page is going to be highlighted. The other ones would be not highlighted. So it would look something like this. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of gap everywhere so that we can kind of see that there is a little bit of a space, right, between everything. So this would be like the overlay. And this would kind of be a component, I would say, because you have variant 1, variant 2, variant 3, and etc. So these would be all different variants. This would stay the same, but this would be highlighted, this wouldn't be, or in variant 2, this would be highlighted, this wouldn't be highlighted, and so on and so forth. And I'm kind of thinking as well, if this has to be also its own component inside of this component. So this would be one component, this would be another component, and then this would be the home page, right? So I can write it down so that we can easily, understand. So this would be the home page, and this would be the overlay component, and this would be the content component, we can say, or grid component. So grid component would go under the overlay component, and the contents of the grid component would change. So this would be actually the feed component, which would be a combination between the two. So if we were to put it like this, it would kind of look like this, boom. And this is like the feed component. That's right, feed component. And then for every feed component, this is going to look different. This is going to be, for example, less. And this will be more highlighted. And some of these sections would change, right? So this wouldn't be green anymore. It would go back to this white, to this D9. So I'm just trying to, give you an example of what this would look like. Let me just visualize this. So then different ones would be highlighted in this case, right? Compared to this one. So this would be the feed component. So feed component would have different variants. This would be variant 1, this would be variant 1, this would be variant 2, etc. So yeah, so I hope you guys understand that. So let me just try to organize this in a way that we can understand. So let me just make this smaller. This would be like the components of this, the variants. So it's going to have different variants based on the different selectors. And each one of these cards, right? Each one of these cards is going to be a CMS. It's going to be a CMS item with a filter. So let me just write filter underneath, very small. So filter, CMS filter. So each one is going to be a CMS filter. And whenever it's set to a component, to this variant, then it would be filtered differently. So it sounds kind of complicated. I think we just have to start building this. So let's just open a Framer project, and let's start building. So I have the Framer project here, and I just opened it. And what we're going to do now is we're going to I'm going to take a screenshot of what I just built here in Figma and paste this into Framer so I can have it here as a kind of guide to help me understand kind of the process. I might be incorrect in terms of how we build it, but This is just like my initial, you know, solution. So first thing that we got to do, right? We need this grid. We need a grid somehow. So I'm going to go here and click on grid, and I'm just going to draw it like this. And we have the layers, and right now we have columns. Let's add 7, and let's add 6 of these. And what we want to do is I want to just delete each one of these, and I want to turn this frame into a layout. So it's going to be a stack. And now what I want to do is I'm just going to duplicate it until it gets full. So we have right now 7 columns, and we have 3 rows, but we want more rows. We want 6, right? So there we go. That's it. And for each stack, let me just change the color to be a little bit lighter. Let's make it like 20% or maybe 10%. So it's not so dark. And now what we want to do, okay, so we have this. I'm going to set the height of the screen to be fit content. I'm going to set the width here to fill. And I'm going to put this grid into another stack. And this stack is going to be basically like the max width. So I like to do this max width thing. So if you're using a monitor, it doesn't stretch out all the way, right? So if I were to press play, it would basically stop in the middle. So that's good. And then we want to maybe add a padding everywhere. Say around 40 pixels. Oh, I pressed that wrong. So around 40 pixels, right? And right now the content looks good. Maybe the stack should be set to viewport. So if we were to press play, and we can make this max width also the height set to viewport. And the grid basically fill the height of the max width of the parent stack, right? So now it is completely to viewport. I cannot scroll, right? Right, so we got that settled. And now what we want to do is let's add a CMS collection. Let's add a blog. And in this blog, we're going to add different images. Let's just duplicate some of them. And let's get a plugin and just choose a random image to basically represent a new CMS thing. I'm going to do this with a few others just to kind of have a good example. So I'm going to pause this video and just replace these images with a few others, and you can do the same. Now that I've added these images and I've added a few other, items to this articles collection that we can we can leave it as articles. We don't really need this categories one, so we have to go back here and delete this blog page. Let me do that. So once we go back here, we can delete this categories one and leave this articles. Now what I want to do is I want to add a new field. So if we click on edit fields, we can add a new field, and we want to call this, let's leave it as a plain text, and we want to call this variant. And under variant, each one is going to have a different number. So let's write 1. So beach days has 1, Indian summer has 1, sneakers guys has 2, this one has 2, this one has 1. You can also do 1 and 3. This one is 3, this one is 2, this one is 3, this one is 3, this one is 1, and this one is 1. So we could go ahead and already start with this. So what I want to do is actually before doing, I want to delete all of these stacks and just play with this first one. And let's actually give the tablet a little bit less, like maybe 4 columns. And the phone can maybe be 2. Okay, and then for this stack, I want to add the CMS collection. So we have the CMS collection, we have articles. And let's just put it inside of this. And what I can do here is that I can set the width to fill and the height to fill. And we're just gonna have one article here and not all of them, right? So let's limit to one article, and let's set the design. Let's fix the design a little bit. Let's set the width to fill here and the height to fill, so it fills the, you know, the actual height of everything. Let's still set the fill here like this, and we can do something like 75 for now. Let's remove this radius around the image. And what else can we do? If we look at the design that they have, so they have like, if we were to inspect, we can see that this is kind of the image here. Okay. And this is like, you see that this is like the stack. This is the stack, this green. And then the green part is the padding, and then the blue is the content. Okay, so let me try to build something like that. So we have this, it fills it up, and we can keep this as beach days for now. We might want to change that to something else. And then this padding thing can actually be the background, I'm thinking. And the title can be, actually, let's make the title go to the left side. Let's make this fill the whole thing. I would say let's try absolute position for the title, and we set it relative, 100%, 100%, and then make this title with the Z index be a little bit higher. So now you can actually see it here. Let's put it to the end. And I'm thinking maybe we can, this title doesn't have to be in the same, maybe it can go underneath. And this doesn't have to have this crazy gap. Okay, something like this might actually work. And this doesn't have to be absolute, it can be relative, and with the 100% fill. Okay, so let's just try like this. We obviously might need to change some of the design. Let's remove this background, so now it's like that. Let's add this title content. Okay, so this is the problem. The title is missing. So let's put it like this. Let's add this to a stack. The stack has to fit the content side, I guess. No. Fill. Yes. Fill. This should also be height fill. And then this, let's remove the gap. Whoops, sorry. 0. And then now we can attach the content to the title. There we go. Beach days. Perfect. All right, and this is going to be with fill, I would put. Okay, so we got that. Now what we want to do is we want to duplicate this everywhere. Sorry. We want to duplicate this stack. So each one is going to be specific CMS item from a collection, right? Now what we want to do is that for each one we want to add a filter, and the filter would be the variant contains 1. Or actually, wait, let me kind of think doesn't contain 1. Let's see. Okay, now it's going to filter to this. So let me try to think of it in a different way. So maybe we don't do it with the filter, we do it with the visibility. So articles visible set variable to variant. If variant contains 1, 2, then it's unvisible. Okay. Something happened with the connection. All right. So it would kind of be something like this, I am guessing. So if variant, if it has v1, then it's visible. If not, then it is unvisible. So let me see the condition. Variant contains 2. Be like to filter. And so I would say that each one has to have this same filter kind of. So if the variant contains 2 or doesn't contain 1, then it's invisible. This one, okay. And then we also have to kind of filter this we have to add like 2 filters. So filter. So this is going to be like 1A, 1B, 1 or 1, 2 variant. So we would call it like the variant. So this would be for the main page. And then we would have something else, another one. Let's also try with plain text. And it would be variant. Let's call this one page. And variant would be, so page would be like the different pages, and variant would be the, so if page 1 is one page, right? And then it would be 1A, 1B, 1C. So we can try something like that. So we have page and we have variant. So instead of the variant being like this, we're going to transfer this to the page. So let's try with this. So I'm just gonna move everything like this. We can put 2, we can put 1 here. Okay. So now each one, let's actually remove this 1 and 3. Let's just put 3. And so right now we have each variant, and we're gonna, for each page, we need like a unique variant number. So that means that page 1, this one's gonna be 1, only this one can be 1. This one has to be 2. Then this one is 2, this can be 1. This one is 2, this has to be 2. This one is 1, this has to be 3 now because there's already 1 and 2. This is 3, this can be the 1, and so on and so forth. So this would be 2 of the of page 3, 2. So we have 1, 2, 3. 3, this is going to be 3, and this is going to be 4. And for 1, we already have 3, so this is going to be 4. And this is going to be 5. And for 2, we have 3. So this is going to be 4. And I can't let's see, this one, this is 1, so this is going to be 6. So for page 1, we have 6 variants. For page 2, we have 4 variants. For page 3, we have 4 variants. I hope you guys understand it. It might be a little bit too complicated, but let me try now to kind of organize myself with this type of logic behind everything. So I'm just going to collapse everything, and I want to just do one page at a time. So let me just finish collapsing all of these different things. Oh my God, there's so many. Let's see, we're almost done. There. So let me select and delete this again. Yes, delete. And we want to do this correctly. So visibility will be based on the page number. Actually, the article will be based. So article. So this one is just articles, and it's sorting default, filters, all, choose. So we need to choose a page. It's set equals 1, 1, perfect. And then we add another filter saying the variant contains or equals 1. So boom. So we have now that's like the main variant. Now what we have to do is with the visibility. So whenever this isn't, so any add choose. No, let's just trying to think here, because this is kind of a hard one. So we have article, and let's set the visibility, set variable to variant, doesn't contain. So I would say instead of doesn't contain, maybe doesn't equal. Doesn't equal, set variable to page. If, oh no, I want to do this. So this is the kind of tricky part. So we want the variant doesn't equal So this is for the condition, because we already have this multiple thing that filters 1 and 1, and then we'd have to do that with the other ones. But we want to basically hide when it doesn't. So set variable to page doesn't equal maybe we just have to do this manually. Doesn't equal 2, 3. So visibility, okay, so we set the visibility to yes if the page equals 1. So the page does equal 1. Okay. Let me try to just duplicate this and see how we can change this article. So the page equals 1. So now this is the second one. So now what I would do So I would basically and we have, if we go back to our CMS, we have 6 that are in the 1, right? So if we go back here, we can basically go here and choose this one to be number 3. Go back here. Sorry, here. Choose this to be number 4. Again, with this one, choose this to be number 5. And then with this one, it would be number 6. And then for these, we would have to also kind of reorder everything. For all of these ones, I want to basically see how we can do it with this filtering of the visibility. Sorry guys that I'm a little bit confused because I'm just trying to figure this out, right? So this is a tough one. So let me again delete all of these. So these are all from page 1. You know what? Let's just build a component already. So this is going to be the grid component. And so this is basically going to be this one, right? So we have this grid component and we have page 1. We're going to have now page 2. And we're going to have page 3. So this is going to be desktop 1, desktop 2, desktop 3. Desktop 1, tablet 1, phone 1, and etc. This is going to be tablet 1, 2. Oh, sorry, not tablet. Desktop 2, tablet 2, phone 2, and then we do this one, desktop 3, tablet 3, phone 3, right? So, and then each one is going to show, so we gotta basically fix the filters now for everyone. So filter page 2 equals 1. Slow connection. So I'm using an Air, so a MacBook Air, so maybe that's one of the reasons why. And I don't really think we need this visibility condition anymore. We don't really need this visibility thing anymore. So if we go here, let's just delete this visibility everywhere. Because we don't really need it, I think. So let's go here, boom. Right, and now it should be away everywhere. Yeah, perfect. Here as well, let's just double check. Okay. So we just gotta adjust the we gotta adjust these things. So we gotta add page 2 equals 2. Then for this one, it's gonna be page 2. So we just gotta adjust this little filter over here. Page 2, 4. And then this one is gonna be page 2, 5. I don't think it has a 5. It doesn't. And then page 2, 6. It doesn't have a 6, but we do it anyways. And then let's do that here. So articles, page 3, 1, page 3, 2, page 3, 4, page 3, 3, sorry. Then this is going to be page 3, 4. And I think it also has only 4, but let's do the rest anyways. And we have to also do the other variants as well. So for example, this would have to be page 2. This one as well. Let's just do it all together. Page 2. So I think I'm just going to do this on my own so that this tutorial isn't so long. But you just have to make sure that everything is in its correct variant, right? All right, so I've managed to successfully do this. So let's just add a kind of a background to everything so I know where everything is. And we have this stack everywhere. And what I want to do is I want to just duplicate this stack and delete this article. And now let's just add some spaces everywhere. We can put this here, add some spaces here, do this here, add some spaces here, put these two together, you know, do something like that. And maybe for the phone one, for the tablet version, it can be a little bit different. Maybe we can even add more rows or less rows, more columns. So for the phone version, it actually looks a little bit weird. Let's see why. Well, we can think about that later. And then for these other things, basically we just gotta, you know, replace, just adjust the design however we want. It's gonna be like this. Let's put this underneath. So we got like a kind of like a random number here. So we got desktop 1, desktop 2. So this can be desktop 1, this would be tablet 1, this would be tablet phone 1. Perfect. So now, if we were to press play, it should show everything. It kind of loads very slowly. I don't know why, but it should load pretty well in your screen. I guess I have like a slow connection. What we can also do is we can publish this and try to open it in Chrome and see how that looks like. So it's all here, basically. All in different sizes, right? So let's go back to Framer and kind of test this out. What I want to do, so if we're to open Chrome again and look at this 100 Berlin or 100berlin.com, we can kind of see how it looks like there's like a scroll effect. So what we can already do is we can like duplicate these and put the different variants. And this top one you see with the side and the top one is going to be already its own component above the bottom component as the viewport fixed to the viewport. As you can see, I'm scrolling and it's fixed to the viewport. So let's just reload this and let me just analyze this again. So we got screen 1, screen 2. Okay, let's just start off simple. And let's maybe duplicate this twice and change the variance. So this would be 3. This would be tablet 2, and tablet 3. And this would be phone 2 and phone 3. Oops. There you go. And so now we have this, that for every time I scroll, I see the other ones, right? But I want to kind of have that effect that it looks like it's like clipped scrolling. And it kind of like fades away once I scroll to that next section. I'm trying to think about how we can do that. So for each one, what I can try to do is add like a type of effect that adds like some type of appear effect or scroll animation that once the layer is in view, let's just try this. Enter, scale. Kind of does it already, but we gotta make it last a little bit longer. Fade in, yeah, perfect. And I don't want any bounce. I want this to maybe take a little bit of time. Yes. Now let's try to publish this and test it out. So it does the effect already, and it repeats it, which is pretty cool. Oh. Okay, so that's good. We're getting there. We're getting there, guys. Now what I want to do is let's go back here and see how this looks like. So obviously they have their titles much different. You have to style it to look like that, but because right now it looks kind of looks pretty crappy because we used this font. So what I can do is I can just select it all and kind of give it like a mono font. Actually, maybe if I just select it like this, hold on. Change the color to white if it allows me to. Doesn't allow me to do separate ones. Okay. Let's make this white, and let's give it like a Geist mono. Let's do the same here. Does it? Okay, it reflects to the other ones, so that's good. So Geist mono, and let's maybe give it like a text style of uppercase. And let's do the same here. So let's replace this white Geist mono, and let's make it uppercase. So I'm gonna do this to the rest of these in this primary component variant, and then it will just reflect to the other one. So let me just finish that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did that now, and it's looking a little bit better, right? I have this nice new little font here that's uppercase. It looks a little bit more modern than the older one. So what we can do now, we have this, it's starting to fade in. I want to try to see to kind of match it more to what we had what we have here in 100 Berlin. Actually, let me just publish this update, and it should now update with the new font, so that's cool. But now we have this let's do this overlay, shall we? So let's do the overlay, and to do that I would need to do the following. I need to go to Framer, and I'm gonna get a frame and just draw a frame, random frame like this, make the height set to viewport, the width to fill, or to actually relative 100. I'd give this a layout, and let's reduce the color of this horrid blue, and let's make this a component. Actually, before we do that, let's put another frame in the middle like this, and this is where our logo will go, basically. So we want to replace this with an image for now. And so we have this in the middle, and then we're going to want to add this thing on the right side, which is like this navigation thing. Now I'm starting to think this wouldn't go overlay in the home page. It would go actually over the different variants. All right, let me just continue cooking on this design we have here. So for this part, we would want this to go, we would actually want to delete this. And let me try to do something. Let me make this at the end and at the top. And then let me duplicate this and see how this looks like. Okay, so we want to put this into a stack, and we want this stack to go down, and we want this to be the end, and we want it to go like this. And let's make the width fit the content, and let's just start. Let's give it like a few sections. Let's make this fill the whole thing. Oh, not width, sorry, fill the height. And let's make these basically fill the height, and the width can be much smaller, something like 30 pixels, perfect. So, and instead of images, let's give them all a fill of white, and these would be transparent, so something like 10%. Now in the middle, I would want to add this frame with the logo. And this logo can be an image, so let's just do like that, and boom. And this wouldn't be a stack like this, it would be absolute, and we want to put it in the middle of the actual thing right here. So it would look like that, perfect. And now for the stack, let's create a component out of it, and we call this the overlay, right? So it's basically this one that we're creating. So we have the grid and we have the overlay. So for the overlay, let's just move it out of here for now. Let's click on it, and then for the overlay, we need to make, we don't have so many pages, we have only 3. So let's delete the rest, and let's make just 3 pages. Boom. And let's make 3 different variants like we did before. But in this case, this is F10, so this would be F10 as well. So this would be 100. Actually, let's just select the other ones. 100. And these would be 100 here. So now we got this. Let's copy this. Let's just copy the overlay. Let's go into here. And for each one of these, we want to rename the overlays, right? So this is going to be desktop 1. This is going to be, again, tablet 1, and so on and so forth. Phone 1. This is going to be desktop 2. Tablet 2. Phone 2. This is going to be desktop 3. 3. Tablet 3. And phone 3. Okay, so now we can go back to our grid. And here what we want to do is we want to make this overlay absolute and make it have a higher z index than the rest of it, and give it a width relative 100%, and the height as well 100%, and let's fit it in the middle. There we go. So this would be tablet 1, this would be phone 1, this would be desktop 2, this would be tablet 2. So we just got to make sure that everything is set. Phone 2, desktop 3, tablet 3, and phone 3. Perfect. Okay, so now we can test here. This is going to be 2 and this is going to be 3. But now what we want to do is we want to actually have one variant, and that every time it scrolls, a new variant pops up. So scroll transform, unscroll from, or not transform, sorry. We're going to do the scroll variant. So layer and view from scroll 1, from desktop 1 to desktop 2. So this is quite a difficult task. Let me just remove this background here so that we don't have that blue color anymore. We know that we have our logo. We have these things on the right, which are going to represent these little images at the very end of this. But we want to kind of make a scroll effect, that whenever we scroll, it hits, it goes to the next. So whenever we scroll, it takes us to the next, basically, sorry, I'm just trying to see. Transition, no. So basically, if we scroll down, it takes us to variant 2. If we scroll down, it takes us to variant 3. And then if we scroll down up, it takes us to 2, and so on and so forth. What I'm thinking about what we can already do is we can set like a interaction. We can kind of give this a I'm just trying to think about how we can do this. So we have these two built. We have this on top of this one. We have the different variants. And how can we do this scroll effect? That if we scroll down, it'll basically give us the next variant. Because we can do it like this, where we have, sorry, let me just take this away. We can do this, where we have 3 different grids with the overlays, and these 3 different grids are the 2 different variants. But we're gonna see this overlay. What we can do is we can actually go here and remove the overlay from here. So let's cut it out and let's add the overlay here as an absolute, perfect. And then what we can do is we can duplicate this. And let's make it not the height, let's make it to the viewport, the height, perfect. And let's put it at the very top. And let's make it fixed to the top. So now we have it fixed. Okay, and then what we can do is we can add scroll variants to each one of these. So this would be scroll section 1. This would be scroll section 2. And this would be scroll section 3. And then let's do like a scroll section transform for this one. So effects, scroll transform, scroll variant from section view. Say yes from section 1 to desktop 2. Oh, okay, no. Section 1, desktop 3. Section 2 would be desktop 2. And section 3 would be desktop 3. So now we can try to see how that looks like. Perfect. Look at that. So now what we can do is we can even add for each one of these grids a special effect, appear effect. On appear, fade in, enter, what we did before. But let's make it, 2.4 seconds or something. Or maybe a little bit less. 2 seconds. So we have it like this. Why isn't it doing it? Okay, it does. It does the thing. Let me remove the gap here. So we have this logo in the very middle. Let's actually make it smaller. And let's replace the logo. Let's see if we can actually get this Berlin whatever logo onto this project. Maybe I can copy the logo somehow. Span path ID. Okay, it's like an SVG. Yeah. All right. Let's just put a text instead of an image. So what we can do is put a text and put Berlin. This we can add a layout. Boom. This layout, we can just fit the content. And let's remove this image thing. And let's make Berlin a little bit larger in terms of the font size, 24. And let's make these things smaller as well. I mean thinner. So something like this. Perfect. So it's looking much better now. Beautiful. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and it's all connected to the different variants. This one would have to be tablet 2. This one would have to be tablet 3. Phone 2, phone 3, boom. It's really interesting. All right, let's see how it looks like now at the end. Perfect. And let's kind of see. I'm not really convinced with this animation from the effect on appear, on scroll. Direction down, replay, yes. Fade out. And what we want to do is we want to actually get these and remove this effect and get this again, copy, and paste the effect, and then go back here and add a new effect and scroll. Can we duplicate it? Copy and okay, no. So what is this? A scroll animation, scroll transform, unscroll. Let's see how it looks like. It seems to be a little bit slow. I want to see how it looks like in the browser. Let's update this. Okay. Not the best thing to do. So what I'm going to do is does it repeat? That's what I'm thinking about. Does it repeat if I go up? Okay. So let's go back here and let's kind of go back to where it was on appear custom effect. And let's update this. Let's go here to and this one can be up here on so layer and view. Let's copy this. Let's remove this. Paste effects. Okay, it's getting there. It's not as smooth as this one yet, but it's getting there. Right. So we have grid 1, scroll animation, unscroll, on appear, fade in. I like that actually. So it's gonna fade in, and I want it to take a bit of time to fade in. And I want the effect to be more of an ease. So we got that. And this one is a little bit too fast. Ease too. And I want this to be also on appear. Fade in. seconds. Effects appear, layer in view. In and out. In and out, 2 seconds. That's gonna be a layer in view. And then we gotta do in and out, 2 seconds, perfect. Let's see how it works. Let's publish, update, click on the link again. It's looking much nicer. So now it seems to be working fine. It's looking really nice. And I guess the next thing that we would have to do is for the overlay, we would have to make it look like this. And basically what you'd have to do, I'm not going to do it now because it's going to take some time. But basically, this is actually a good, workout for you in terms of Figma, Framer workout, sorry. Create a stack, and then inside of the stack, add different frames. So I'm just going to put this one, for example. Let's remove this, and let's duplicate the frame a few times. And what you want to do is you want to delete the gap between everything. And some of these are going to be thinner than others. Let's say that this one is going to be like 2, this one is going to be like 6, this one is going to be 7, this one is going to be 4, this one is going to be 2, and the other one 10. And what you want to do is you want to line this to the right, and then you can see kind of how it looks like. And this is basically what we want to do. And then instead of making it for color, we can just replace the image with the CMS image, for example, that's going to be in this particular project. So if there's 6, we just need 6 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Delete this last one. And basically it's going to, you just replace it with the CMS images. To replace it with the CMS images, it's going to be quite another tutorial to do, but it's possible. So that's what I wanted to basically show you guys today. A little bit of an advanced tutorial on how to use Framer and different scroll effects and different variants, and all connected with the CMS, which is really, really powerful in Framer, and I recommend anyone to use when they are learning Framer, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna put a link to this specific project down below, so you can just watch it and kind of learn how to do it. Also, I recommend that you not only download this specific file from the description below, but you also try to do it on your own, because like just follow this tutorial with me and try to do it on your own. Like, and if you get stuck, just rewind and watch it again. That's the best way to learn. But anyways, this is a really cool tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. And yeah, wish you guys the best of luck in your Framer career. If you want to, ask any questions about Framer, I'm free. Just write in the comments, and or join my Discord. And I'm here to help you guys with anything. So thank you guys again for joining, and wish you guys a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks. Bye-bye.